There we go. Now we're live. I've been sitting here talking to myself. We just cracked this one open. Perfect for the evening's festivities. Good old hard cider. Angry Orchard. Sour apple. Doot, doot, doot. There it is. So what's going on with everybody tonight? You get any trick-or-treaters? Any tricks or any treats? What's going on, Clinton? Get any trick-or-treaters down there in Texas? We're going to be telling some ghost stories tonight. That's cool. I don't really either. It's more of a thing for kids anyway. Although I wouldn't mind trying to work at a haunted house sometime. That might be fun. Yeah, we ain't getting no trick-or-treaters around here. In fact, I only know of maybe one or two kids in the entire neighborhood. And it's a pretty big neighborhood because these are all 5-acre lots. But it's actually warm enough this year. The trick-or-treat ain't too bad. A lot of times it's almost zero out. And you either got to put clothing over top of your costumes to go out trick-or-treating, or you got to get a costume big enough to go over top of your clothing. Look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man walking around, no matter what costume you got on. Dakota, what's going on? You'll bring the beers, huh? All right. I'll tell you what, I'm rocking the Angry Orchard tonight. I'm gonna wait for a little while, get at least 10 or 12 people in here before we start telling ghost stories. Nachie boy. Boo. Oh, nice. How's the weather up there tonight? Got any snow yet? What's going on, Mrs. Mike? Now, for those of you who are here, be putting on your thinking cap. If you got any ghost stories, there's a link in the description that you can copy and paste and sign in. And there's also one if you go to the community tab where I posted this going live. There's a link there. It should not be raining this time of year. But anyway, if you got any stories you want to tell and you want to join us live, copy that link and you don't mind getting on. I can only have one person on at a time. But could be fun, could be interesting. And I'll get things warmed up here in a little bit. Yeah, we got our first snow last week, but it was just tiny dusting. I'm glad it ain't raining down here. Last fall was bad enough with all the frickin' rain. Turned everything into a damn ice rink. Mike's already asleep. Well, that's all right. He had a busy day. He can do the rewatch. Well, hopefully he sleeps through the night too, and he doesn't get up at like 2 or 3 a.m. like I do. Yeah, we'll sit back here for a little bit, enjoy the fire. Got some nice wood burning. Right now it's about 40 degrees, but temperature's dropping. It's going to get down to about 35 tonight, they said. Oh, good. Dos, tres, cuatro. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. This is one of the tunes I love using for parades. When you got to cut out the copyright music, I'll slap this song in there. Yeah, I very rarely have one. I've got one inside. Why would I want to come outside to have a fire when I got one inside? It's warmer in the cabin. But tonight is a special night. All the creepy crawlies are out. All the tricksters looking for treats. I hope you gave them treats so you don't get tricks. And I also hope you paid your Reese's Peanut Butter Cup taxes. Because if you don't pay your Reese's Peanut Butter Cup taxes, Nomi's coming to collect from you. Ooh. Pretty scary, huh? Right now it is 6:30, 6:37, 6:38 p.m. So there's 4 hours of difference. I didn't want it to be too much earlier because if I would have made it at 5 or 5:30, it was too light out, and I didn't want to make it too late. I miss all the East Coast peeps most of the time anyway. Shooting my time zone, everybody's going to sleep by the time I'm just getting going. Nice. See, that's even better. No kids, you get all the Reese's peanut butter cups for yourself. I'll give it another minute here, and I've got a couple of ghost stories to tell you. And then if any of you out there got one that you want to tell us, share with us. There's a link in the community tab to join this live. You can get on here with us. There's also a link in the comment section of this live. Cut and paste it. You can join us live here with us, and you can tell your stories. But I got a couple. I got one about some water spirits, and another one just a good old ghost story. And these really happened to me too, so these ain't made up. And I wouldn't lie to you. DJ Washington's in the house. What's up, brother David? Hey, buddy, you got any scary stories you want to tell us? I got a link for coming on live and joining me if you want to. But let me give it another minute here. All right. Let's flip the camera around here. Ooh, spooky. Spooky, know me. I gotta leave my glasses on here so I can look down and see the chat. And boy, do I have a story for you guys tonight on this All Hallows Eve. You guys are ready? Well, you got them candy jokes, man. You can come on and tell some of your candy jokes. I wouldn't mind that. But all right, let me get into my story. Which one do you want to hear first? Do you want to hear the one about the water spirits, or do you want to hear about the ghost story? Because I got two. I can't decide which one I want to tell first. Yeah, I'm glad. I was watching your drum videos here earlier tonight, man. You were getting it, buddy. You were hitting them licks. So what do you say, ghost story or water spirits? You're going to hear both of them anyway. Which one do you want to hear first? Hope you guys are all staying nice and warm. And I got to keep an eye on this fire. It's popping and pipping and pooping. And I got everything cleared out away from it, but they're popping pretty far. And I got some grass over there. I don't want to cause a fire. All right. We'll tell you the one about the water spirits. That's a fun one. Turn this music down a little bit. Because it's not really in theme. So, this happened about 14 years ago. And I was caretaking a lodge. And it was the middle of winter. I had started in September and I actually caretook that lodge for a year, a whole season. And it was just me and my dog in this lodge along the Parks Highway on the way up north. Just me and my dog in this big old building. And there was some weird stuff that go on in that building. Weird stuff. Lots to do with the water. Everything that happened had to do with water. But the biggest one was, since this was a lodge, they had a regular commercial kitchen, which was fun to cook in. Hard to cook in when you're by yourself on such big stuff, but it was still fun to cook in. I always had fun having people over for dinner. Anyway, this commercial kitchen, if you're unfamiliar with kitchens and commercial work, they've got these dishwashers. And they're not like your normal dishwashers that you have in your house where your door opens up and your trays are flying out and put your stuff in and you close it. These things are fairly long. This thing was probably about 8 foot long. And they put these big square racks full of dishes in there. And you slide this thing into this square box that fits one of these racks. And it's got these doors. They're like sort of like clamshells that come down together and lock everything. There's 2 on either side and 1 in the front. So there's 3 of these doors that are all tied together. And in order to get this dishwasher to work, it's got a safety cutoff. If the doors are open, the dishwasher won't come on because it's scalding hot water in there and people could get hurt. Well, I'm telling you, the first month or 2 that I lived in there, this happened at least once a week until I disconnected the freaking thing because I could not figure out what was going on. But the doors were open all the time because I never used it unless I had company over and we'd run a bunch of dishes through it. So it stayed open. I'd come down in the morning and there would be water everywhere in the kitchen. And it all came from that dishwasher, and the doors were wide open. And I kept saying, what the heck is going on here? Because you have to physically close these doors and take two toggle switches, click one up first, and then the second one in that series. So it takes, two hands to get this thing to start. And it won't start with the doors open. But there it was. Come down in the morning, water everywhere. That dishwasher had run by itself with those doors open. I couldn't figure it out. I finally disconnected the damn thing. What's going on in Tom's world? Yeah, and this was actually, the lodge is in a floodplain right next to a stream. And so it was definitely water spirit related, that's for sure. Well, hello, not me. I'm not Santa, but I am a gnome. Gnomes and elves are closely related. So that's my first story. I actually got another. I'll tell you another quick one from there. But before I do, if you got a spooky story and you want to join us here in the chat, there's a connection in the description. I'm not sure if you got to click it or if you got to cut and paste it. And there's also a clickable connection in the community tab. Click it, and you can come on here live and you can tell your ghost stories. Anyway, the next big thing that happened at that lodge was the men's urinals in the bathroom deck, because it was a commercial building, so there was regular big bathrooms on the main level, men's room with the urinals and women's room with just stalls. I'd come down again. Either I'd hear something in the middle of the night and come down, or next thing in the morning, and the urinals would be running. All three of them. Running wide open. And those things got automatic flappers in them. So they're on a timer. So you flush it, and 30 seconds later, it closes it off. So it shouldn't stay open unless it breaks. But they usually don't break by themselves when they're not being used. Those things would be running constantly. I finally disconnected them. I got tired of it. All right, DJ Washington. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Good to see you. Hope all is well with you and yours. I don't know. If I wear my Santa suit, I let people sit on my lap, but I'm not in my Santa suit right now, so no, I can't let you sit on my lap. Sorry. Plus, I'm not officially on duty for public relations until after Thanksgiving. When you see me in the Thanksgiving parade, I'm available for answering questions and lap duty. Until then, don't have to wait. Sorry. Well, hello, Middle East. What part of the Middle East? Upper Middle East? Lower Middle East? Middle Middle East? And what time of day is it in the Middle East? Got to be getting close to morning. Sun coming up, huh? So, anybody else got any stories you want to tell us? We can just sit here and enjoy the fire for a minute. Kurdistan. Wow, that's cool. I watch a lot of videos on people that tour that part of the area. Kurdistan, Turkmenistan, Ukraine, Turkey, all that area over in there. I'd love to come visit Kurdistan and Turkmenistan and all those stannies over there. You guys got some good food. At least it looks like it's good food anyway. We're all about the food. Well, 5:30 a.m. Well, top of the morning to you. And happy Halloween. You know, I did that once. I did that once and I don't have to do it again. Yeah, I know I do. I was thinking about that. I want to come back. I'd love to come back between Thanksgiving and Christmas so I can hang out and visit with a lot of people and then do the Thanksgiving parade and the Mummers parade before I came home. That's the plan anyway. It's on my bucket list. I would love to come over there to visit you. I think that'd be awesome. I need to get a passport though. I've never been outside of the country except for to Canada. Oh yeah, Tom, we'll definitely be hanging out. Like I said, you and I will be hanging out, and some other people will have to come find us if they want to meet us. we can pretend to be YouTube snobs, huh? Yeah, Christine. There's a lot of people back in Philly that would love to get together and hang out. I'd love to. I think we could have a regular get together, meet and greet, hang out. I think that'd be a good time. And I definitely want to come back and I'd love to make some videos. I want to do videos that show places that I grew up, where I grew up, a lot of the history and stuff. Not that a lot of that's not covered already, but from a gnome's perspective, and shit, I ain't been home since 1989. Oops. Yeah, I ain't been home since 1989, so I'm due. But that, especially if I come back for a month, that'd be a pretty big expense. So I'm gonna have to save my pennies and figure out a way to make money so I can save pennies. There we go. Yeah, some other guys. Well, definitely, Tom, because a lot of the places you've been, I've been, but I haven't been there since I was a freaking kid. Yeah, you're not too much younger than me. I was 18 when I moved out of no, I just turned 19 when I left Philly. But that's where I was born and risen. Theodore, greetings and salutations and happy Samhain, blessed Halloween to you from the beautiful state of Alaska. Well, we're the same age then, Christine. Yeah, I was about the same age. Although I could think I could top you, Tom. I did that and got poison ivy for the first time in my life, all on the same day. And I got it in places you do not want to have poison ivy. Wow, 17 and 26. I mean, honestly, it wasn't that many years ago that wasn't that big of an age gap. I mean, my mom was 16 when she got married and started having kids. My grandmother was 15 when she got married and started having kids. Oy, oy, oy. Well, has anybody got any ghost stories they want to come join us in live chat? Feel free to touch the link that's in the comment section. And if that one doesn't work, there's also a link in the community tab where I posted this video. Mama squirrel, mama squirrel, mama squirrel. Good to see you, hon. That's awesome, though, Tom. That's awesome. That's a great story. Well, I've been married once. I met my wife my ex-wife on the CB radio. That was an interesting story. That was a different world, different time, different day. Yes, it is. I've been watching what's going on out there. We are still very much F Sciento around these parts. I'm glad to see you're down there keeping up the fight, hon. I really am. Northwest 425. What's going on, buddy? Hope you're staying warm over there. We had a bit of a fire going and we're telling ghost stories. All right, I'm going to tell another ghost story. And hopefully one of you guys will join us and you can tell a ghost story too. Because I don't have too many left. But this happened again up in that same neck of the woods that I was living at that lodge, just a few more miles north. And I was living with this gal, and she had 4 kids, and we were living in a 2-story house. And the stairs were the stairs to go upstairs were in the back of the house, and they ended up in the living room. So when you got to the bottom of the stairs, you're right in the living room, and the couch was right there at the bottom of the stairs. Oh, here we go, Mama Squirrel. I think I just added you. I hear something. Can I see you? Is your
No,
camera on?
you can't see me. No, my camera's not on. I just wanted to come on and say hi to you and wish you well and wish you happy Halloween.
Oh, that's awesome, hon. I appreciate it, and it's so good to hear your voice.
Thank you. It's so good to hear from you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I've been sort of, just trying to survive and live and survive, survive.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to come and wish you well.
Yeah. So how's my little brother Nomi's doing?
He's in Australia right now with Aphila.
Wow. Off on big adventures us gnomes go, huh?
Yeah, roaming gnomes.
That's right.
All right, well, I'm
Well,
going to let you go. I just wanted to pop in and send you some love.
all right, hon. Thank you. Love you right back. Take care of yourself.
Bye.
Bye. Well, there you go. That was Antics, and Mama Squirrel popped in to say hello, hello, hello. Back to my story. So, come down the stairs. It opens up into the living room, and the couch is right there at the bottom of the stairs. So I'm coming down the stairs, and I hear voices in the living room. Now there's people downstairs, but these voices were just sort of like mumbly, like they were there, but you could tell they were there, but like they weren't there, but they were there. And the further I got down the stairs, the louder these voices got. And it turned out it sounded like it was one person's voice, and I couldn't tell whether it was a teenage boy or what it was, but it was just real muffly. And my girlfriend at the time's youngest son was 4 years old, and he was sitting on the end of that couch. And he was sort of I was watching him as I'm coming down the stairs, and he just sort of staring off, looking into the middle of the room like he's listening to that conversation. I walk into the living room, and I look to where the voices are coming from. I don't see anything, and I hear very distinctively, just like, and I looked at Echo, who was sitting on the couch, and he looked up at me. And I said, Echo, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah. What do you mean, did I hear that? It was right there. I've been listening to him for a while. He didn't say that, but that's sort of the way it was. And just you could see it in his eyes. And I said, well, what did they say? And he lit off this sentence of all the things this voice had been saying. And I just sat there, and the more he talked, the more my jaw just dropped wide open because I heard the voice, but he heard what the voices said. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, we actually been not super cold yet. I'm not looking forward to the cold. It's supposed to be a very cold winter. I'd rather have a cold, snowy winter than a cold, rainy winter. That's for sure. So, did any of those stories scare you guys? They all really happened. It's all true. I wouldn't lie to you. I don't know. Crank up a little more music. I can't remember what it said because it was like a whole string of sentences that he told me he said, and I was just in such shock and awe because he like almost said it was a whole paragraph as much as he said this thing was talking, and I was just looking at him like, okay, you heard it, I heard something. Can we skip winter? No, because if we skip winter, how would we really appreciate summer? If summer was endless, we wouldn't have anything to appreciate. Yeah, I bet it is. You got to figure out how to get some insulation in that tent at least. Get some layers going, buddy. Yep, I understand, especially when you're living in a tent. Hopefully that situation will change here for you soon. So, all right, somebody else needs to call in and give us a scary ghost story. I know you got one. I know you guys got them. Now, I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but I have seen some strange happenings going on. That's a fact. Jack. Hey, what? This fire feels good. The wind finally cut down. We had hurricane force winds for about a week. I got all kinds of trees down that I got to start cleaning up. I got one that came down almost can't landed on the cabin. Got another one that came down and came across the driveway. I got it out of the way, but it's still laying there. I got to clean it up. Work to do. Work to do. Take it one step at a time. You guys can see me. I got enough light. Woo-hoo. Thanks for the hearts. Hopefully, you guys had a fun Halloween. Either a fun one or an uneventful one. Just kind of sort of another day up here. Mind me throwing some more wood in the fire. I got all these nice dry chunks of wood. Makes a nice fire. Ooh, Colonial Williamsburg would have been fun, huh? I did one in Colorado. In fact, I did stay at the Stanley Inn, which is where they did The Shining. I didn't see anything or hear anything. But I stayed at the Stanley. That's a cool old hotel. Oh, that's cool. Uh-oh. Hopefully that'll go out here. Pardon me for a second. I got a grass fire. All good. Oh, there we go. I don't have enough bonfires, and grass grew up around the fire pit this summer, so. You know what I used to love doing is the cemetery tours, especially back east, all the old cemeteries where I grew up back east. And then Colorado had some really cool old cemeteries too. In fact, there's one old cemetery that was the main Denver cemetery that ended up as Denver grew up and around it. It's sort of in the middle of this industrial area right now. But there's a lot of famous Coloradans buried in that cemetery and some really cool stories. And you wouldn't know that it was so famous unless you went there and did a tour. But yeah, if you're gonna do ghost tours and stuff like that, man, I think you got to dress the part, get everybody in the mood. All right, Clinton, awesome seeing you, buddy. Take care of your bad self. I ain't long for this world. One of these apple ciders will put me out. I'm a teetotaler. So, anybody got any ghost stories? Feel free to join in. Oh, make sure you hit that like button. Share if you care. I know most of the United States is going to sleep now. East Coast is in bed. And we got a moon getting ready to rise above the trees. That'll be cool. Might even have some northern lights tonight. I need to check the aurora forecast. Nice. Thanks, Mama. Appreciate ya. Well, I got a few more ghost stories I could rustle up, but I don't want to tell all of them yet. Gotta save some for later, for another time. I used to say I stayed up late. I really don't stay up late. I just sort of sleep when I can sleep, which isn't much. Tisn't much at all. You want to take a look at the fire? Yeah, I'm gonna let this fire burn down just a little bit. Especially since it's popping as much as it is. I don't want to go inside and cause a fire other than in the fire pit. This is one of the best fire rings I've ever had. This is an old tractor trailer tire. And man, they make awesome fire pits. Yeah, Christine, I'm using all these scraps that I got from the truss plant, all the little ones. They make a great fire. They're all dried, cured, ready to go. They make good coals if you want to cook something. In fact, I'm thinking about taking a bunch of these little hunks and pieces and making some charcoal. It's not that hard to do. Good fire, good music, good people. Very hypnotizing. I could probably sit here and fall asleep if I wanted to. Tell you what, guys, it was about 45 minutes. That wasn't too bad for a live. I'm going to find the grate to put on this fire so I don't burn the place down. And I want to tell y'all I appreciate you popping in, spending some time with the old gnome. Fun times. I wouldn't mind doing story time more often. I got a bunch of stories to tell. So we may pop in here a little more often now that it's bonfire season. But other than that, appreciate you all coming in. Thanks for hitting the like. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching all our videos. Remember, if you care, go ahead and share. And peace out.